Hello, Jay here, your bud, EscobarJ.com. I'm back for another video, and this video is going to be intermittent fasting for beginners and what to eat, specifically what to eat. And I'll just break down for you, if you're a beginner in intermittent fasting, kind of the process, how it works, and then depending on your goals, if you're trying to lose weight with intermittent fasting or if you're trying to gain muscle with intermittent fasting, you can do both. I will show you both ways in which you can, and things you can eat that will help you achieve your goals. So let's jump over to my screen and, okay, so first off, a couple of things I want to get out of the way as far as intermittent fasting goes. So essentially what the idea of intermittent fasting is you're going to have an eating window, and it's going to be typically, you can do it different ways, but some people do like a 16-hour fast with an 8-hour eating window. Some people do an 18-10. Some people do a lower, like a 12-12. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to do. What I found that works best for me is a 16-hour 16-hour fast, 8-hour window. Unless I'm doing like a longer fast, there's benefits to doing like a 24, 48, or 72-hour fast. I don't recommend doing more than a 48-hour fast at a time during these trying times of coronavirus. It can lower your immune system. That being said, what I found is the sweet spot for me is 16-hour fast and an 8-hour window to eat. And essentially the idea is when you go through your 16-hour fast or your whatever your window is, you are starving your body of any calories, and what that does is it allows your body to start utilizing fat stores for energy and get into a state of ketosis, actually, to burn that energy instead of constantly having food and calories in your body that your body uses to burn fuel. Another thing that it does is allows your body to go through what's called apoptosis, which is cell death. Certain cells will sacrifice themselves in your body for the beneficial new cell growth, and it can really be a cleansing and removing toxins from your body experience. So that's kind of the basics of intermittent fasting, the kind of the process. But the way you do it, the way that I've done it, is I will usually, the last thing that I will eat is around 7 o'clock at night, and then I will fast through the night. So I eat at 7 p.m. I fast all the way until about, let's see, it depends on the day. Sometimes I'll break my fast around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Other days I'll go a little longer. I'll go 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., 3 p.m. the next day. Sometimes I do 24-hour fasts, but usually I'm in that window of about 16 hours on fasting, 8 hours on my eating window. So my eating window will usually be from like 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Somewhere in there, or 8 o'clock. Usually I don't like to eat past 7, so 11 to 7 usually is a good time for me. And I have found that that's the sweet spot for me. But you can experiment with it. That's the cool part. And one thing that you need to understand with intermittent fasting, one of the most important and beneficial things you need to be doing when you're intermittent fasting is exercising and training at the end of your fast. So before I break my fast at, let's say it's 11 o'clock in the morning, so I go from 7 p.m. to 11 o'clock the next day, I will do my exercise, my workout, my high-intensity interval training or my heavy lifting training right before I break my fast at 11. So at 10 o'clock I'll be working out, or at 9 o'clock I'll be working out until 11. And I'm doing high-intensity interval training. And the reason you want to do this is because when you are exercising towards the end of your fast, your body is already in a very deep state of caloric deficit, and it's already utilizing fat stores and other means to use energy. So when you do a high-intensity interval training or you do a weightlifting regimen at the end of that fast, your body is just going in a hyperdrive of burning, your fat stores, burning the storage that it's used in the past to store fats and store energy. It's going to utilize those stores. And so when you do it toward the end of your fast, when you do it, so let's say hypothetically you break your fast before your workout, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because when you eat something and you break your fast, your body is now not in a caloric deficit because you broke your fast. So and it depends on how much you eat too. I mean, if you have like 1 calorie, obviously you're still going to get into that caloric deficit quickly and you start working out. But the idea is, if you do break your fast beforehand, it's kind of like counteracting your workout, because the point of working out is to burn calories, burn fat, and the most efficient way to do that is to do the exercise right before you're going to break your fast. Otherwise, you eat something, you have new calories coming into your body, you start working out, and your body is now going to start utilizing those calories to start burning instead of your fat stores or when you're in a caloric deficit. So that is, I just want to get that out of the way. So now let's get to what to eat. And this is specifically, I'm going to break down what it is for weight loss if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to gain muscle. So first, I'm going to cover weight loss. So if you're going to do the intermittent fasting, you can do it. Like you can do it if you want to lose weight. You can do it several different ways, as long as you're like measuring your calories every single day. But the easiest way and the most efficient way is to utilize the keto diet. Okay, and specifically when you do the keto diet, the types of foods that you want to be eating are things like avocado. So first off, things to cook with. So these are like oils. So avocado oil. I'm going to just put olive and ghee butter are good. Butter. You want to be eating some eggs, cheese, bacon, meats. Seafood is good, like tuna. Macadamia nuts. And other nuts like almonds, pecans, pumpkin seeds, right? Those types of nuts. Stay away from like cashews and peanuts. Those are higher carb. You obviously want to be eating avocados. Those are like superfoods, and broccoli are superfoods. Cauliflower, asparagus, those types of things. MCT oil is another good one. If you should break your fast with MCT oil, because MCT oil actually bypasses the liver and goes straight into your bloodstream and gives you a boost of energy, and it actually puts you in a state of ketosis faster. State of ketosis allows you to burn fat. And by the way, if you want to go more in detail on what to eat with the keto diet and what it is, I'm going to go ahead and post a video at the top right corner of your screen right now. Go ahead and click that link, and there's that video. You can watch that on the keto diet more in detail. And then other ideas are like zoodles, and then omega-3s like fish oil. I take fish oil every single day. It's good for your heart. So those are some things you could be eating on the keto diet. If you don't know what the keto diet is, like I said, I'll post that video. You can watch what it is, how it works more in detail. But now I'm going to cover if you want to go into muscle gaining while intermittent fasting. So the weight loss, if you're trying to do intermittent fasting to lose weight, I highly recommend utilizing the keto diet, because it will put your body into hyperdrive as far as losing weight. When you eat high fats, I'll just put this. High fat, medium carb, or medium protein, low carb, right? That's the keto diet. So very, very high fats. You want to be doing about 80% fats, or 70 to 80% fats, 20 to 40% protein, and like 0 to 5% carbs. I mean, very, very low carbs and sugar, and low sugar, right? So, okay, so let's move to muscle gaining. So muscle gaining is a little different. And by the way, all of these, you can also be measuring your macros and your calorie intake. If you want to lose weight, you got to find your basal metabolic intake, your basal metabolic rate, which is basically the base amount of calories your body needs to maintain your weight. So for example, if you eat 2,000 calories on a daily basis, and that will allow you to maintain the weight that you're at. If you want to lose weight, you want to be in a slight caloric deficit each day. So eating, 1,800 calories to 1,900 calories to start losing that weight. If you want to gain weight, you eat a little bit more, so 2,100, 2,200 calories a day. And as long as you do those things, it'll either help you gain weight or lose weight. Or you could stay the same by just eating the 2,000 calories. For example, you got to find out your own BMR. Okay, now for muscle gain, it's a little different. If you want to do intermittent fasting to also like burn fat and also gain weight, there's a couple different ways you can do it. There's carb cycling, and then there's the carnivore diet. So carb cycling, the idea is as soon as you exercise, so you still keep the same regimen. You know 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window. Right before you break your fast, you're exercising. At the end of your exercise, what you're going to do is you're going to eat some carbohydrates. And what you want to do is when you eat carbs, it spikes your blood spikes your insulin and your blood sugar levels. And the benefit of doing that is that when your insulin is spiked, it actually allows proteins to go in the muscles more efficiently, which allows for protein synthesis and allows you to gain muscle mass faster. And essentially, what you want to do is you want to spike that insulin quickly, and then you want it to come down quickly. You do not want to eat carbs and have it go up slowly and then come down slowly, like a bell curve. You want it to be an upside down V shape. You want to spike it fast and drop it very quickly as well. And what that's going to do is, as soon as you break your fast, you're insulin sensitive. Your body is very sensitive to whatever it is you're eating. So when you eat some carbs, and you want to have low glycemic carbs, that's what will allow you to spike your insulin fast and blood sugar and drop it down low. So for example, things that you would want to eat is like rice cakes. Okay, and this is like unflavored and just salted, right? You don't want to get the flavored crap because there's like sugars in those. There's other like maltodextrin and other trash in the flavored rice cakes. Like there's like caramel and so avoid that. Just get the original unflavored salted. Other things you can have is like rice is good, and quinoa are good lower glycemic carbohydrates to have. And then this is debatable, but beans as well. Beans are typically a little bit lower carb. They do have more fiber in them, so they kind of do go a little slower, but you can do beans if you want. So those are just a few examples of what you can do to do the carb cycling. And essentially the carb cycling is you're spiking your blood sugar and your insulin in a very short period of time after you break your fast. So the first thing you break your fast with is, like a rice cake. You spike your insulin, it comes back down, and then you can eat whatever you want, else. You could do like protein, you could do vegetables. Make sure you're just eating clean, whole foods. Avoid processed foods. That's with all of these. So after you eat your carbs, you can have protein, meat. You can have, really anything you want. You just want to avoid fats. You want to avoid avocado, cheese, MCT oil. You want to avoid a lot of the foods you're going to see up here. Ghee butter, olive oil. You want to, because you don't want to have high fat with high carbohydrates, because that tells your body to store the fats, and that's what you don't want. So you want to keep it low fat and then higher carbohydrate intake and higher protein intake. So that's the idea, and the idea is to get that protein synthesis going on in your body quickly. It actually releases more ATP in the mitochondria of your cells as well, which gives you more energy and things. And then when you do intermittent fasting, once you're in your fasting window, that's what allows you to still cut the fat, because your body is now going into a caloric deficit. You can get your body back into ketosis during that fasting window, and then you do it all over again, right? And then the other strategy is the carnivore diet. And again, you want to keep it low fats, moderate carbohydrates, and very high protein. And I would even say low carbohydrates, low fats and low carbohydrates, and then very high protein. So some things that you could be eating is like New York strips, New York steak, right? Very lean chicken. You could do beans in that scenario. Bison is actually really, really good. Obviously, like your typical protein powder. I recommend pea protein powder. It's better for muscle gaining. Actually, they've done studies. So those are some types of things, and just like lean red meats. Avoid like seafood. Seafood, there's a lot of fats in seafood. You could have it if you want, but typically if you're doing the carnivore diet, while seafood is meat, It's higher omega-3, higher omega-6, and that is a type of oil which has a lot of fat in it. So, and that's essentially, you want to avoid the fats. And essentially the idea with carnivore diet, it's kind of the same thing with carb cycling. It's a little different though. You're mainly just sticking with meat, right? You're eating meat for 90% of your meals in your 8-hour window. And then in your 16-hour fast, again, you're eating those meats, and then you are kicking your body back into ketosis. And the idea is, when you eat high amounts of protein, it does break down into carbohydrates in your body, and it kind of does the same thing as carb cycling, but it's a little bit slower of a process. And the idea with all of these strategies, if you're trying to do weight loss or muscle gain, essentially, you don't want to do intermittent fasting every single day. What I found is that when you do it every single day, oh, I spelled sugar wrong here. Okay, so when you do intermittent fasting every single day, your body can actually get adapted to fasting every single day. So if you just go 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window, 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window, when you do that, your body actually gets used to it and starts adapting, and it gets used to that you doing that. So the best, most efficient way to utilize intermittent fasting is to do an every other day regimen. So every other day you're going to do a 16-hour fast, or even you could do a 24-hour fast and then do a 24-hour on. So 24-hour fast, 24-hour on, 24-hour fast, 24-hour on, alternate like that. Or you could even do it 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window, but then skip a day and eat normally for that next day. And then the following day, then you're also going to do that 16-hour fast, 8 hours. So you want to go in every other day type of regimen when you're doing intermittent fasting. That keeps your body guessing, and it also is the most efficient way for you to gain muscle, because in between those days you can eat normally and it'll help you gain more muscle, but also for weight loss as well, because it'll keep your body guessing. Your body won't get used to it. So that is the essential idea for intermittent fasting. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you never miss a video. And every time I release one, you'll get notified. The whole point of me doing these videos is to share them with as many people as possible. So it would help me out if you subscribed, you shared, and you just, help me out by getting this out to as many people as possible and spreading the love. So always learn, always grow, always push forward. Make sure that you are doing what you can control with your body. Intermittent fasting is a great way to lose weight and gain muscle. It's a great strategy. I love intermittent fasting. I do it all the time. And I know that this will help you. If you stick to it and utilize it, doing it consistently over time, you can reach your goals. So I leave that with you. Be well, be great, prosper, be safe out there, and I